Are altcoins dead? Is this a bull market just for Bitcoin? In this video, I'm going to show you why alt season is coming and how to prepare in the best way possible. What's alt season? Alt season is a period where altcoins outperform Bitcoin, Bitcoin dominance starts to drop, and money starts to rotating from Bitcoin to smaller cryptos. In the first period of the bull market, Bitcoin leads. You have majority of people putting their money into Bitcoin. People start saying that altcoins are dead, there is not much going on. You have maybe 1-2 altcoins outperforming Bitcoin, but 99% of them are actually underperforming against Bitcoin, including Ethereum. Then you have Ethereum starting to outperform Bitcoin, and that's the key. When Ethereum starts to become strong, Bitcoin dominance starts to collapse, then you have altcoins doing very well. I'm gonna now explain how last cycle played out. First, you had Bitcoin going from 10K to 40K, so Bitcoin did 400%. In the same period, altcoins were ranging, not doing much. People start saying the same thing, altcoins are dead, this is just a Bitcoin cycle. Then in the end, when Bitcoin went from 40 to 69K, which was the top of the last bull market, altcoins did like 10 times their price in a matter of 4 months. What's the lesson here? Altcoins move in the last period of the bull market. These are the signals I'm looking at to know if alt season is coming. So first of all, we have Ethereum for the first time in the last 4 years starting to outperform Bitcoin. Remember, every single cycle we had that altcoins did very well, Ethereum was stronger than Bitcoin. So Ethereum was really bad against Bitcoin in the last 4 years, lost like 70% of the value against Bitcoin. For the first time in a while, we are seeing Ethereum starting to show some strength. Another very important signal is Bitcoin dominance. So historically, we only had alt season when Bitcoin dominance hit between 70 to 75%. Currently, we are at 64. We went to 66, very close. For me, we still reach 70%. When we reach 70%, which we are close, is like a 10% move, then historically, looking at stats, is when alt season occurs. Another very important factor to have an alt season is macroeconomics. So when you look at the past cycles, we had quantitative easing, meaning the Federal Reserve was printing money, we had lower interest rates. At the moment, we are in a quantitative tightening environment, meaning Federal Reserve is actually selling. We only had alt season when Federal Reserve was buying. At the moment, we are transitioning from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, meaning low interest rates, people have excessive money to buy things, and that's when alt season comes. So we are about to have that as well. So this is how the cycle plays out. Bitcoin very strong in the beginning, you have quantitative tightening, people don't want to take risks, so they buy Bitcoin. Then we go from quantitative tightening to quantitative easing, meaning very cheap to borrow money. When you have excessive money, what do? You gamble a bit more. So what we do, we buy altcoins. Another signal that alt season is not here but is coming is retail. When you look at, for example, Google search on crypto, on Bitcoin, we are still basically at bear market levels, which means majority of people are still sleeping on crypto. You will only have alt season when everyone is euphoric, when everyone is buying altcoins. This is not the moment at all. But this is a moment to accumulate because attention is still not on altcoins. Everyone is thinking Bitcoin is going to be the only one to move. It's not going to. This is just how cycle plays. You have the stronger moving first, and then you have the lower ones with less liquidity moving last. So, most important question, how do you prepare for alt season? First thing you need to do is have a smaller portfolio. I recommend max 5 coins. In my case, I have like 3 coins. Focus in really good narratives. In my case, AI for me is the strongest one. That's why Tau is my #1 conviction. Bitcoin, of course, digital gold. You know that eventually it will be at 1 million. And then you have layer 1. You could add Sui and Solana, fast, cheap, can handle tons of transactions. They can actually compete with Visa itself. So you have really good narratives, really good coins that are the best in those narratives. If you do this, you're already ahead of 99% of people. Second thing is, and very important, master buying and selling timing. Meaning, majority of people start buying after everyone starts speaking about. You go on Twitter, everyone is buying, everyone is saying this is going 10x from here. When you usually start to seeing that, it means we are close to the top. At the moment, people are barely speaking about altcoins. Bitcoin is at new all-time highs. So attention is still in Bitcoin. When you start attention rotating from Bitcoin to altcoins, that's actually when you start taking profits, which is still not the moment. We are going to see sanity for altcoins, but that's only when Bitcoin goes between 150 to 200K. Last phase of the cycle, in my opinion, around those levels, you're going to have altcoins doing very, very well in a matter of 3 to 4 months. Another very important thing is your portfolio allocation. So in my case, I'm 70-80% in Tau BitTensor. Why? Is the decentralized infrastructure for AI. You can create and solve any problem you want using the technology that Tau created. Same tokenomics like Bitcoin, very decentralized, is in the center of technology, artificial intelligence. It just has far more use cases than any other crypto I've seen. To have an idea, there are 110 subnets on Tau, which means 110 different companies. Each one of these companies can optimize for different problems. You have inference, you have images, you have videos, you have trading, anything you can think about, Tau can do it. Another 10% I recommend is to have Bitcoin. Why? Bitcoin always moves first. So you have those profits from Bitcoin. When Bitcoin starts to get to 150 to 200K, you can rotate some of those profits to lower caps, Tau, Sui, Solana. And the last 10% I would allocate to layer ones. Solana and Sui are my number one conviction in terms of layer ones. Very fast, cheap, can handle tons of transactions, have really amazing smart contract capabilities. Solana and Sui is where attention is. They have the most active communities, smartest teams, and they have the most users. Another very important thing is risk management. Don't go all in, don't buy everything in one day. Dollar cost average. When people are afraid, you buy. When people are really euphoric, everyone is exaggerating, you start taking profits. So make sure you have a good risk management strategy, because you can be really good. If you don't have a good risk management, you can lose it all. So just be cautious. The last thing, and very important, is take profits. Many people made a lot of money last cycle, but they didn't take profits. They were greedy, like myself. What happened? We tripped back all our profits from making millions to basically going to zero. So this cycle, it's better to sell before the top, because it's very difficult to time markets. So instead of that, when you are up, when you have a decent gains on your portfolio, take profits, convert even to Bitcoin, because you know Bitcoin is the safest, and you will see that even if you miss some upside, at least you made good money for the next cycle. Remember, the name of the game is capital preservation, not capital appreciation, because if you don't have money to invest, you are not going to make any money. So first you preserve your money and then you try to multiply it. Remember, like in the last few cycles, Bitcoin moved first. People started saying altcoins are dead. This is just a Bitcoin cycle. Then in a matter of few months, close to the top for Bitcoin, altcoins is like 10 to 20x, and people were euphoric. So don't mess it up this time. Alt season is coming. Just make sure you have really good projects, and you will see that in a matter of few months, you're gonna make a lot of money. If you wanna become a pro with crypto, this is one of the best times to actually learn how to do it like a pro. That's why I created different subscriptions to help all of you becoming successful with crypto. If you have any questions, DM me on Instagram and I will answer it.